Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to solve the problem from topic searching and sorting from the sheet given by Rohit Negi, which name is Coder Army. So in this video we are going to solve this problem, which is overlapping intervals. Okay. First, let's check in which companies they asked this question. So Amazon, Microsoft, it's good companies. So let's start the question. Okay. Given an collection of intervals, the task is to merge all of the overlapping intervals. Okay. So here we have given an interval and task is to merge all of the overlapping intervals. Okay, so let me write it first here. Which are the interval given? 1, 3, then 2, 4, 6, 8, and the last is 9, 10. Now, what's the problem states this? So we have to merge overlapping interval and just write it. Okay, so this is 2. Hmm. Now, how to find the overlapping interval and what's the output for this input? So here in the explanation also they given that if we are talking about, so let me write like this way all. So first is from 1 to 3, second is from 2 to 4, so and the third is 6 to 8, 9, 10. So we can see here this is the overlapping part. So we directly write 1 to 4, 6 to 8, and at last 9 to 10. So as you can see, this is our input, this is our output. We have to just merge the overlapping interval and just write, and these two are the known overlapping interval as you can see here. Okay, if you have any confusion, let me do the same thing with the second example also for better understanding. Okay, what we have? We have 6, 8, okay, 1, 9, okay, 2, 4, and the last is 4, 7. What we are doing here? Again, the same thing. Let me write like this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 to 8. This is here 1 to 9, okay, 2 to 4, and 4 to 7. So as you can see, all the four are means intersecting. All the four intervals are intersecting here. So if here we can see that all fours are intersection, so we can write only the one interval, and which is from 1 to 9. These all are the overlapping. This 2 4 is overlapping here, this is overlapping here, and this is also overlapping here. So our final interval is from 1 to 9. So what's this question again? Merge all the overlapping intervals, because we know that if we are writing 1 to 9, then the 2 4 are included in that path only. So 6 to 8 also, and 4 to 7 also. Now, how to solve the question? Okay, now approach for solving the question. So let's start with the first example. We are going example wise only. So this is the 2D array. So in question, we are given a 2D array. 2D array means with in this question we have a 4 row and 2 column. So let me write in the matrix form only: 1, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. So I am telling you the solution, the approach to solve the problem. So what we are going to do? So first we are sorting uh, the matrix. How we are sorting? We are sorting the matrix based on the starting time. We know that this is the starting time and this is the end time. we know that this is the start and this is the end time of any interval. So interval starts from 1, ends at 3. Interval starts from 2, ends at 4. Interval start from 6 and ends at 8. And here start from 9, ends at 10. So sort the intervals based on the start value of the interval. Okay, so we are sorting how we can sort that. I'll explain you in the code. Okay, now after doing this, what's the next step? Now let's initialize two variable. Why two variable? First, for traversing the size, which is here a 4, and the result, which is a 0. What's the use of the result variable? So the result variable will keep the track of current merged interval. Okay, let me explain you the approach to solve this question. So as we know that this is, let me give the index also. Okay, so this is our first element, this is our second element. So we know that this will part remain fixed means here we can't in the first element all only we can't find any overlapping. We know that this will remain the same means we are starting from 1 and we are ending at 3. There is no overlapping with anyone here because we have only one interval here. So here in this question we are given four interval, but this is our first interval. So we know that in first interval there will be not possible any overlapping. When you are dealing with more intervals, then there might be a possibility. So as we can see here, there is no overlapping. So we are starting from I equal to 1 to check here. Now, what we are going to check? We are checking this thing. Let me tell you. So this is our fixed part. Now, what we have to check? We have to check if this value is greater than this value. It means that the second interval is within, or the starting of the second interval is in between the first interval. And what does that mean? That means that there is a overlapping, because we know that here the interval first is from 1 to 3 and the second itself starts from 2. It means that there is overlapping. Okay, so there is a first condition to check for the overlapping. And what's the condition to check for the non-overlapping? We have to check if this 4 is less than 6, means the end of a interval is less than the starting of the new interval. Then these two intervals are not overlapping to each other. Okay, that understood by you. So how we can keep track that this is the merged interval with the help of this result. Now let's start. So we are starting I from 1. Now what we are going to do? We are checking this value. And what's this value? This value is interval of I1. Yeah, this value is interval of I1 and interval of result 1, or we can say that this value is 3. We are checking if 3 greater than 2. Yeah, that's true. So the second interval is overlapping with the first interval. So what we are doing, we are taking the minimum value of this two value to our first interval, because we are merging here, and we are taking maximum value among these two value and replace it with the first interval, because this is our merged interval. So uh, the minimum between 1 and 2 is 1, and the maximum between 3 and 4 is 4. Why we are updating here 4? Because in merged interval, we have to write end with the maximum between two intervals, and starting will be minimum of these two elements. Okay. Now what we are doing? We are incrementing I. Check for 2. Now what we are checking, the last is greater than the second interval last is greater than third interval first or not. So here we can see that it's not a true. So now what we are going to do? Now let's see. So this is our first interval, this is a merged interval, and this will be our second interval, and there is a no overlapping between these two intervals. So how we can keep a track with it? So we are incrementing result by 1 and replacing the second interval by third interval. So now we have first interval from 1 to 4, second interval from 6 to 8. Now we are incrementing value of I. Checking again here. So 8 is less than 9. Yes, we can see here 8 is less than 9. It means that this interval and this interval are not overlapping. So what we are doing? We are increasing this value. What is the use of the increment of this value? This that I'll show you on the code how this will merge the other two elements. Okay, and we are just copy this value to here. Now we have array 2D array with this interval with the result value is 2, size is 4. Now we are copying this into the another 2D array which contain a size of 3 and just copying this part because this is our answer that we want. Okay, so this is a very easy problem. What we have to do? First sort based on the starting time. Then by initializing, we are initializing the two variable. After that, the merging of overlapping interval, and then just copy back to the value. Okay, let me show you the code also, so that you can understand better. So this is our code. What we are doing here? Okay, so as I told you, this is our first step. This is our first step. Yeah, this is the first step. First step is what? First step is sort. We have to sort based on we have to sort based on starting time. So how we can do here? That's the given here. Okay, array dot sort in the intervals. So if you want to if you know this how this thing is working, then it's fine. Otherwise, let me tell you about this. So here, new java.util.comparator creates an anonymous inner class that implements the comparator that implements the comparator interface for comparing what we have to compare integer arrays. Okay. Inside the anonymous inner class, compare method used to do a comparison between two. This compare method is used to do comparison between two arrays. Which two arrays? These two arrays. This is one array, this is two array. Yeah, like that we have to compare. Now this compare function receives two arrays as input and compare them based on their first element. So this is one array, this is second array. The first element is 1, the first element is 2. Based on this, we are checking here, we are putting integer dot compare. How it will useful? It will check that if the difference between first two element based on the difference between first two element, it will decide the order whether it's a positive, negative or 0. So this is the use of this. Must the basic thing if you want to implement sorting between two elements based two arrays. Here we are doing with two arrays. Means if here we have a total four arrays in one 2D array. Now what's the next step? Let me erase this also and let's do a dry run. Dry run of what? Dry run of our code. Okay, just be patient. Let me erase this also. Okay, dry run of the code, how we are implementing the code. So what's our input? Our inputs are 1, 3, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Let me give the indexes also 0, 1, 2, 3. Now this part we already did here, sorting based on the start time. Now we have two variable result, which is here 0, size, which is 4, and we are traversing starting from I equal to 1, as you can see here. Now what we are checking? Interval I0. I0, I is 1, 1, 0 means this value is less than this value. The rest indicates the index of merged intervals last element. So that's pointing to here. It means that the last interval, merged interval is 1, 3 because that's the first interval, and the merged interval we can also say that because there is a no overlapping in the first interval itself. Yes, I think you got what I'm trying to convey you. So we know that 2 is less than 3. So what we are doing, we are updating here the minimum, as you can see here, the minim as you can see in this part, the minimum and the maximum between these two, because we know that we have to take the last element of the merged interval because that's our last part. Okay. So we are replacing res 0 interval result 0 with the minimum between these two and the maximum between these two. Now out of the if we are incrementing I. So we are increment I. Now let's check for again. Here we have 4, here we have 6. So how can you so sure about it? So let's check I0. I is 2. 2, 0 is 6, which is not less than 0, 1. Yeah, we know that that's not less than. So what we are doing, we are incrementing the result means now our merged is from here and replace the set third row by second row. Okay, got it. Now let's increment I again, doing the same thing, checking it. Now you can see that this is 1. It means our merged intervals is starting from here in our first row. This is our zeroth row, this is our first row, like that. So these two are not overlapping to each other. We are replacing here, and before that we are incrementing this. Now I is equal to size, I is 4 equal to size. So we are out of the loop. Now we have array 2D array which contain 1, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10. Now we have to do what we have to do. We have to do just a copy to the another array till this element. So we know that our res value is 2. Now create a result array with size 3 cross 2 because we know that we have to need this part only, means this is a 3 cross 2. So in 3 cross 2 just copy the value, as you can see here, result ij equal to interval I j, and at the end we are returning the result because we have to return a 2D matrix. So that's how this problem is very easy, and the time required to solve the problem is n log n, and here we are using the space order of n, okay, with n intervals, because here n is the number of intervals. So we have here 3 intervals, so we can say approximately order of n space complexity. So this is the code which I give you the link of the code in the description, and this is the explanation I told you. First we have to sort, then just replace it, means merge the overlapping, and then just copy back into the result array. So this is how this problem is. So if you like this video, then do like and share with your friend, and if you find any difficulty in understanding the problem, then just do a comment. Thank you guys.